Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another Decenter deck profile, and this will probably be the final one that I do for Touken Ranbu that gets update from their second theme booster. If they have more, then I probably will do more. But at this stage, I built 3 decks, and this is the third one. So here we are, and this time we're covering Hachisuka Kotetsu Kiwame Sentou. So he gets support. The playstyle is changed. It kind of similar, but it's changed by a lot. That is very different now, and it actually is way stronger than before. So I'm happy with this update, and we will go over his skill. But first, let's also look into the right line. Some people are using the Migatsuki right line for calling more units out and being able to look at top deck, but I don't see that being very useful, and I want to like stick with him. So I'm using his right line, which is not bad at all. The great one is telling you that it's an active skill that you can solo one, remove 2 guys from the right deck. That is Hachisuka Kotetsu, which is these 2. Then you can choose a card from your drop and add it to your hand, so you don't waste your card you ditch from the right line, or you can just grab this back to play another card to be attacker. That's to me already helpful because we don't get to rush your opponents a lot, or even just play it like this, your Vanguard and a Reguard, and you are hoping for a trigger to attack. That's also fine as well, because you need units anyway. So this, I think, is actually helping you to do that. And because through my playtest, like 90% of the times I don't see my forge at all, so any way to pick something back to my hand for reuse is very, very helpful. And the grade 2, Toku, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle by riding from the grade 1, kind of last one, search your deck for up to 1 Urashima Kotetsu, which is this guy, called the Riga Circle, and shuffle the deck. So he is a card that, as long as you have another card with in the same column with as this card, which is also your regards, so as long as your when your columns is full when this guy is on board, he will become a 10k attacker booster. So even just this is a good 16k line, which is way better than 11. Worst of the worst, you can still hit a 30k Vanguard. So I'll just put it here because it will be in the main deck anyway. I think it doesn't matter. Right. And then we are going to talk about him now. So he's also considered himself to be the Kiwame version. So they share the same name. You can you can just personalize across these 2 names. But unless you really don't have a choice, I have to repeat this so many times. That 100% I will not be writing the old one. Like, unless your whole board is gone and you need an extra card, then you will personalize into the old one. Else, you won't do it. You just won't do it. Okay. I just make it very clear, because the old one compared to the new one is too useless, and it also requires you to have a full board. So unless you really have nothing, and it can still be better you play him as a regard to do something else, probably. But again, if you really go to that deep, then you can do it. Else, just don't do it. Second skill, active skill. Once per turn, counterblast 1. Choose 3 of your regards. Until end of turn, they get boost and power plus 5k. Because in this deck we don't run a lot of cards that is with boost. Triggers we will use to guarding. Great ones I don't run a lot. So you will give those units that is not grade 1 and grade 0 boost, and plus 5k, so they can be a very scary booster, and at the same time you can still give plus 5k to a non-back row unit at all if you have enough boost, so that the front row can hit harder and they will withstand because of the first skill, which is if you personalize this turn, you can instead to do counter plus 1, but usually at the end of the battle this unit attacks, put one card with the same name as this unit from Regard Circle from hand into your soul. Choose one regard and stand it. If you have 2 or more grade 3 cards with Hachisuka Kotetsu in the card name, choose 2 instead of 1. So you can do 4 to 5 attacks per turn, and sometimes the 5k to the front row can be handy, but most of the time I will just put it to the back row so they can be a scary booster, and that's all that matters. Now let me put the right line here and put these 2 here because I've explained those, and let's go over what's remaining in the main deck first. What we need to personalize for. Second, what we need to put into the soul for. So he's only here to be put into the soul. He can be a good regard because he's a 13k, plus 5 can be 18k with a 10k, grade 2, you give this boost, then it can still hit for 28k base, which is, I think, is very, very great. Instead of just giving a 15k guard, now your opponent will need to give you more. And that's how this deck become a lot more annoying, because instead of just hitting like high numbers, it is going to ruin your opponent's calculation by a little bit, by bit, and you're withstanding your regards. So they will need to calculate more. And even this, you just swing for 18 is still a little bit scary, and after you withstand it, it's still 18. It can be more if you have triggers, and you can just put him into the soul to withstand another regard from hand or from regard circle. So I don't see a reason why you don't fully utilize like maximizing this. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, next is another new card, very good support. He is Kotetsu Kiwame. Yeah, so the name is a little bit hard to just say, so I need to actually look at the names and talk about it. So his skill, where this card is placed on Regard Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Hachisuka Kotetsu in his card name, so plus 1, of the top 5 cards of the deck, choose up to 1 unit card with different name from this unit, and grade less than or equal to your Vanguard. From among them, call the Regard Circle and shuffle your deck. So you get to fill your board, but you don't have a lot of souls, so do be careful on that. And this skill prevents you to call himself, because you can't do that. You can't call one, soul plus 1, call another one, soul plus 1, call another one, soul plus 1, call another one. That is not going to allow you to do that. So do be careful, but it helps you to bring something that can be a good booster, can be one of these, so you can put them into your soul, which I think is very, very great. And he also get a Shinkei HASATA skill, which is a new break free. If you have 3 or more damage, you can make this skill active. When it's unit boosts or attacks, we'll simply just get plus 5k for the battle. So he is a good 15k attacker, 15k booster. With your Vanguard skill will be 20k booster, which can help you most of the time, right? Boosting this will be 33k. That's all you need, right? Or even boosting your Vanguard, it can be a simple 33k attack with a personal riding. That's already scary enough. Next, another card from the new set, which is very important as well. He is Nagasone Kotetsu Kiwame. So his skill is very simple. This unit gets plus 10k power. Also on your opponent's turn, continue skill, Regard Circle. So as long as it's on Regard Circle, he's at 20k. That's all that matters. Your Vanguard will give plus 5k to it, so it's a 25k boost. That is scary. That is already scary. It can turn anything to be able to hit a lot of things. And that's where your opponents drop their guard, give you a lot of cards, and you turn things around. The second skill doesn't matter too much, which is if the total number of attacks this turn is not 3 or more, this unit cannot attack on a regular circle, but you are doing more than 3 attacks. So worst to worst, you can attack with one side of the regard, attack with your Vanguard, withstand that regard, attack with the regard, that's 3 times. Then he can swing as a 20k beat stick. So yeah, worst to worst, you have a chance to put him out to swing, and he can still give you a good return. So it's a very low cost, straightforward booster of beat stick. I'll just put it that way. And based on the JP price, he's not expensive at all. I just get him like $2 for 2. So it really is a very cheap option, but being a very good card to use. Next is a little bit more expensive, Himetsuru Ichimonji. So he gets to skill. When this unit is placed on regular circle from hand, look at top card of your deck, put on top or bottom. So you get to see your future for a little bit. If it's a trigger, keep on top. If it's not a trigger, put it at the bottom. Or if you're going to call with your forge, then you have a chance to look at it before you start flipping cards with your forge. But most of the time I'm using this card to check for triggers after using forge. So yeah, I think the checking trigger is more important than guarantee a unit that you want to call. That's how I put it. And the second skill, when I shoot attacks, if opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher, Soul Blast 1, and this unit get plus 10k power until end of battle, and at the end of the battle, draw one card and retire this unit. So he can boost himself to be double, to be a 20k, and then pop himself out, change another card in your hand, help you survive. And even with him, it's a 15 because of your Vanguard 2 plus another 5. That's 20, 15, that's still a 35k. I mean, it's still a very decent number. It's not 38, but it still does enough, I guess. And he turns in another card for you, but do remember, if you're doing 5 attacks, don't pop that 10k up on your first attack, because he dies after the battle. So you use him to attack first, withstand him, attack with him, and then pop that 10k skill. And before that, you can use anything to boost it with the base 10k. I think with the concept of this deck, the power will be enough, so you don't need to worry about those. And after withstanding, you can just happily plus 10k pop himself to turn into another card. But do remember, he's also using Soul Blast, so you need to talk with your souls. Make sure you don't Soul Blast too much of these guys out. Hopefully not any single one out. Then you should be good. And then 2 of this old card is Jusumaru Tsunezugu. So he get 1 skill once per turn. Regard circle, active skill, counter plus 1, and rest this unit and another regard. Choose one of your opponent's unit, get plus minus 5k until end of turn. You will personalize this turn, stand all of your regards. So we are not only making your opponent's feeling annoying by making adjustments with 5, with 10s, with 5, with 10s, we're also minusing them 5. Because sometimes if they get too much defensive trigger, like this and this combo as a 30k line, if they get 2 defensive triggers, it's 33k for most cases, which you are 3k short to meet the goal. But this minus 5 will come into handy, and they actually become 28, so they still need to give you some stuff for guarding. And you are personalizing, you won't be worrying about any rested units. And even if you haven't pressed right and if you want to use the skill, I think that's totally fine because your Vanguard will able to restand one of your regards. So you can just probably have one of this behind your Vanguard, use God's skill, rest him and this, and then use your Vanguard attacks and put the one that you rested behind into soul, restand him, so you can still be able to hit something as long as your opponents don't have any defensive trigger. Even though you're not doing 4 attacks or more, but I think that is still a good trade-off, or like something that really helps you to push the line. Sometimes just step 5k short and he's helping you out. Yeah. After that is PGs. You know what PG does. And then Forge. You just love Forge. Turns you another card onto your board. Recycle triggers, recycle good units, and maybe able to give you extra power plus if you have more Forge on the field. Yeah, that's basically it. We just need it for modern Touken Ranbu deck, so here we are. And we are ready into triggers. With triggers, I'm going with a very budget options. This is, you just get it every single box, so I don't think that is an issue at all, and it's like just a good OT to have. 5 crits. If you want to change in a throwing crit, you can. 3 fronts. If you want to turn it into 20k fronts, you can. 3 draws. If you want to turn them into 10k draws, you can. And 4 heals. I just don't have so much effect triggers with me to put in every single deck of mine, so so far this works fine as well. But if you change them into actual effect triggers, you need to pay more. But of course, this will make your guarding efficiency, your soul charging efficiency a lot better. So it's up to you. I just want to keep it budget, keep it simple, so that's how I do it. And I do see the reason of myself using rainbow triggers instead of just 3 options plus an OT, because draw, I do want draws. Fronts, I'm doing more than 3 attacks, so fronts is definitely great. Crit is something that helps me push the game while I have high power, and heals because it's heal. OT because it's like the greatest OT for Touken Ranbu. That's all I need to say. Yeah. So if you want to change into any of the effect triggers, you can. I'm not stopping you. Everyone have their ways of like enjoying the game with budget or not. I just want to keep it as budget as I can, even though there are like a lot of triple wares, but I think only this one going to cost you a lot. And if you want to turn him into something else, you can feel free to just turn into any double rares that going to help you. Yeah, I think that's it for what I need to say. Yeah. So, game plan. You are just trying to bash your opponents as much times as you can, and then when you get into Great Freeze, start hitting them with high power, more than 3 attacks, make them drop cards. That's how you win. I have been like doing 2 attacks on my Great One, but one being invalid because my opponents always get a defensive trigger, but I can still kind of manage them to dropping a lot of cards, even they draw a lot of cards. So the game is kind of going a even way, even though sometimes I do lose. That this card is this deck is decking something for a fatal blow, because you can make your opponents drop a lot of hands, but if they are good at coming back, they can just get a lot of cards back to survive your next turn. And as long as that keep going, you will go into a disadvantage because you aren't actually that kind of defensive. You are using your offense to reduce the offense. That's how I put it. So if your opponent is very good at getting cards back, and if you are not faster than them to reduce all the resources so you can make every punches counts, you will lose. Because I have been playing against like a Miniver deck with promos. It's still kind of an even game. That of course Miniver is going to apply a lot more pressure on me because they are doing more attacks. They are like utilizing skills a lot better, and they don't need to have like a full board. They can still kind of bring a full board out, which this deck you need to do it bit by bit without the forge because you can't always draw it. With me, my playtest 100% forge didn't come into my opening hand, and only 10 to 20% of my game that forge actually comes into play, and I can still manage to pull a kind of even match against those decks. So I think this deck is doing okay as a rogue deck, but it's not a meta deck, of course, because he is a lower grade bastion that you still have something that you can intercept with while having a higher attacks, but without the person riding your front row is still a little bit weak, and that's why I'm running him so that I actually get a chance to even plus 10k to make the difference. Yeah, but compared to the other two that is good at rushing, good at resenting Vanguard and being annoying, this is another way of annoying with numbers calculations with high power bash. Yeah, so if you want to like use a rogue deck to have fun, and if Touken Ranbu is one of your options, then you can try this out and have fun with it. Yeah, because the reason I get this deck is not that I watch any of the Touken Ranbu series, but I see this guy gold, I see him looks like a gold saint from Saint Seiya, and then I'm like, okay, just make it because it's cheap. So and then when he gets an update, and instead of doing 3 attacks with front row plus 5k and boost, which I think is not actually helpful, now we can actually do more, and I'm happy with the upgrade. I'm happy with the deck. Probably won't be upgrading it until I see more support. That's, I think, is what I completed with this deck. So feel free to give it a try. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any questions. And that's it for me today. Subscribe for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxing videos. DBD 12 is coming in, and in like a week or so you will see me unboxing that, for of course. And yeah, share with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.